Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning, live edition, Monday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida, right there in Celebration Point, in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check them out. Comfort Temp Heating and Air is your number one local HVAC company. Visit them at comforttemp.com. We got JC today. We'll also have Mike Morgan from the SEC Network, talk college hoops. If you missed it over the weekend, gymnastics loses to Oklahoma. Basketball defeats Kentucky. Softball stays undefeated. Baseball loses the opener, comes back, gets to the final two games of the series. They're 2-1. And Gators men's golf wins the Gator Invitational, defeating Auburn, who's like number 2 in America and has the best player in the world as an amateur, Jackson Kuvan. I can't ever pronounce his name, but let's go to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by JC. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Conyer Ron said he saw some good golf this weekend. He went out there and watched it. He got to see the best player in the world out there.
I mean, you were the best player in the world stuff. Look, here's the thing.
It's true, JC.
Okay.
Is Scotty Scheffler the best player in the world in professional?
Currently, he is.
Okay. Well, Jackson Koivan is the number 1 player in the world as an amateur.
Okay, well, more importantly, yesterday, the Gators beat Auburn by 14 strokes, Oklahoma State by 25, and Noah Kent was 6 under, Kress was 6 under, 7th straight Gator Invitational win. They finished final day with a 3-shot lead, then went 6 under on 7, 8, and 9 with Eagles on 7 from Parker Sands and Zach Swanwick, and, of course, Zach had to shoot a 66 yesterday. So for J.C. Deacon, our coach, it's the 6th season of 3+ single-season wins and 4th straight year of 4 single-season tournament wins. And next up, they get to go in 12 days to Las Vegas for the Southern Highlands Collegiate, 18 holes in Las Vegas. That's a long way to go for to play a 18-hole tournament, but I think it's an 18-hole tournament.
No. It'll be at least.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know how I read that, but I read it on the app. But a good win for the Gator golf team. Of course, that's what was expected.
And they didn't even play. Have 2 of their best players didn't even play.
And they should win. But Kress and Kent were quite good.
Yeah.
And Swanwick was 66 yesterday, dude.
It was an enormous win. I will put it that because of what Auburn has. Like I said, Auburn's number 2 in America.
This guy, I mean, you might as well put Tiger Woods on their team, QB. You're all over this guy. I mean,
I'm just going by what the golf people tell me, JC. You're not even on the golf booster board, okay? Or a booster.
You didn't even go watch. I don't want to hear.
I couldn't. So the bottom line is, I went to their banquet Friday night, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm just telling you, I've had multiple people in the golf world tell me that Jackson Koivan is the best amateur player they've ever seen.
Okay, maybe that's great. I mean, you know,
he's already got his PGA Tour card. He will be on the tour next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the other golf tournament, Colin Morikawa, did you watch that?
That was phenomenal. I mean,
yeah.
Now, phenomenal meaning there were so many guys and had a chance to win the tournament. Pebble Beach is way too easy for these guys. It's one of the shortest courses on tour.
Yeah.
They can't make it any longer because they don't have land.
Yeah.
But if it's soft, they're going to destroy that golf course. I mean, number 18, they used to say that was one of the hardest par 5s on tour. It's a joke now.
It's a par 4. It's basically a par 4. And, you know, everybody knew that Morikawa, once he got his drive in the fairway, was going to win that tournament because he just needed that birdie, a 2-putt birdie.
I don't know what Sam Burns was thinking.
Yeah, I don't either. Hitting an iron off the tee box. That's not the kind of guy I want on the Ryder Cup. But, you know, here is here is Jacob Bridgman playing around with the walruses on the beach on 18.
That was great. I love
And
that.
he's making poor Collins stand there for 20, 25 minutes. And as a golfer, you know how tough that can be, QB, when you're trying to get your mind right. I thought it was very smart of him to basically tell the caddy here, don't give me a club. I want to go walk and look at the Pacific Ocean. And that's what he did. He birdied 15 and 16. That gave him levity to bogey number 17, the par 3, almost parred it with an errant tee shot that almost went in the water off the cliff there. But the birdie on the par 5, 18th hole, which is really a par 4, after a 20, 25-minute wait, was the exciting,
Did you see the Saturday golf?
I did watch.
Did you see how long it took Minwoo Lee to play 18?
Yeah.
48 minutes.
I know. They just, I mean, it's such a short hole, a par 5. Everybody makes it there in 2, and you got to wait.
Well, Minwoo, you obviously didn't see it, JC.
I watched it, but I
okay,
didn't.
So Minwoo Lee, his threesome, he hit it right over by the cart path. It went in a bush. It was not out of bounds. So he had to get a ruling on an unplayable. So it was either he had to play it from the mulch right next to the bush, which he probably wouldn't have a swing, or he had to drop it over outside the cart path, or he could play it off the cart path. Took him about 20 minutes to decide and get the rulings and all that stuff. So he played it off the cart path. But once he got on the green, actually, I think he got on it. He may have hit it on it from the cart path. Anyway, not only him and his other playing partners, the wind was blowing so hard, the ball would not stay still.
Mm-hmm.
So it took them
16 years in Australia. He won this live event with a 9-under par 63 to win the tournament by 3 strokes. It's just an incredible comeback story for a guy who literally spent a decade and a half from winning and over a decade from playing competitive golf because he was
he had a lot of drug issues.
Yeah, but you know what? The story is he came back from that, and it's a great story. So I was very excited for Anthony Kim. That's a great win. That's a great story. Hopefully he can stay sober. I think he will. And then, of course, QB, we had the Gators in Kentucky on Saturday, and I took the over 154. That was easy. That was so easy. These guys just go up and down and score. But, just Alec, I give out Condon all the credit in the world for the way he hustles and the way he fights down there, and he's up and down. He's total energy. But my goodness, man, watching him play offense and shoot free throws and it's crazy.
You know who he reminds me of? I started thinking about this because, he makes a few plays that you go, holy cow.
Yeah.
You remember Tyler Hansbrough?
Yeah, North Carolina. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly who he reminds me of.
That's right. Well, yeah. And
he's always like kind of out, his body control is always out of whack. He's not, dribbling and then turning the ball over, but he makes some good plays, and it's weird to watch.
I love his energy. He barely sweats out there. I mean, he's in such great condition. He's just got so much energy moving. If he can harness that some way and just get that offensive game down a little bit better and his shooting down a little bit better, he's going to be impossible to deal with. But he's a great player to have on the team because of his energy and his defense and all the things he can do out there for you. And of course, Todd Golden loves him. So the Gators win by 9. They don't get the cover. They play South Carolina tomorrow night. I'm going to put that line at around 16 or 17 and a half points. South Carolina lost by 14 at Alabama Saturday. So they're probably one of the 2 worst teams in the league. So this should be
real bad
for the Gators. Yeah.
Greg says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, football people said DJ Lagway is the best high school QB in the country. Also, Greg, I said Jackson Coyvan is the best player in the world. I'm not talking about the country. I'm talking about the world. And I will stand by that.
You don't know that, QB, just because of someone.
See, I watched him play last year.
You watched him play last year. Where did you watch him play last year?
JC, okay, let's don't even go there because here's the thing. Here's the thing, JC.
I'll put my Gator hat on.
You just read off about all these stats about. Okay, just trust me on this. If you want to buy stock in this kid. Okay.
Okay. All right.
He is unbelievable.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with you can't say a quarterback. I mean, there's a difference knowing when the best player in the world in golf is compared to the best quarterback.
Good. The world's a big place, QB. A lot of golf.
But JC, why can't you? Okay, they have world rankings for a reason.
Okay, all right.
But no, I want you to argue with me here.
I
When
am
those
arguing.
world rankings, do you think the PGA Tour, their world rankings are correct?
Well, on the PGA Tour, they are.
Okay,
Yeah.
the golf has the same damn world rankings for amateurs.
Okay, so he's highly rated.
He is the number one player in the world. I just don't understand. I mean, he won going
War
away in
Eagle.
this
Hey,
tournament.
War Eagle, QB. War Eagle.
No, I'm just telling you,
Uh,
I believe our Gator golf coaches know what the hell they're talking about.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And they've told me that he's the best player in the world.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So anyway,
It says I chose violence. I'm not choosing violence. I'm just questioning all this lofty praise. But maybe it's
because
true.
JC, because in golf, those guys, he's already got his PGA Tour card because he's the number one player in the world. He leads the PGA University. Okay, he is in. It's just like Ludwig Åberg. He was the number one amateur in the world when he was at Texas Tech. He's pretty damn good. He's on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not
there's
talking.
only-
This
there's
is not somebody, some
Me,
dude from 24/7 Sports or On3 doing rankings at a combine of high school football players.
So there's 120 to 25 players on the tour, QB. The world has 4 billion or 5 billion people.
Okay, well, he's going to be on the tour
I don't know how
next
many
year.
golfers are out there. I
He
don't
will
know
be
how
on the tour next year at 20 years old.
That's great. That's great. There's a lot of young phenoms that can make it on the tour, and then you don't hear about them. All I'm saying is pump the brakes on this world crap. I mean,
Okay.
you don't know any of that. You don't know that there's some kid in Europe that could beat his ass. You don't
JC,
know anything.
That's why it's called the world, because he plays
The rankings
over there
say
and
it all.
kicks their ass.
So the
Okay,
rankings.
we're not going to argue about this anymore because it's
You're the one
silly.
getting all worked up about it. I got
No. Because if the guy played at Alabama, he'd be the best player in the world. But since he's at Auburn, it's okay.
Couldn't name 5 players on either team, QB. That tells you how much I care about that.
Right, but he's the individual champ of our Gator Invitational. That tells you how damn good he is.
Okay.
All right, baseball got a bunch of people. Joseph says on Facebook Live, Florida baseball picked up right where they left off, losing games to teams like UAB. I wouldn't worry about it. They play 50-something games. It ain't no big deal.
Yeah. Well, Kanye Ron says I'm biased against Auburn. Only their football team bothers me. But I don't have a bias against Auburn. That was the school that was our big route. Just like Florida State is Florida, same thing. It's no big deal. You that kind of stuff kind of wears away as you age. It really does. I mean, that was a big deal in college and then after college, but I see an Auburn grad out there. I'm fine. I love all. I mean, I had a sister-in-law at one time. My sister-in-law is an Auburn grad. So yeah. I have a wholesaler for Lincoln Financial who's an Auburn grad. I make fun of him every day. It's great. I really like the guy. His name's Dan. But I really liked watching that golf yesterday at Pebble Beach. But yeah, I hear you, QB. It's just too damn easy for these guys. There were some tough holes, but man, the scoring is out of control. When you make 3 eagles in a round, you're certainly not a PGA type of venue. Do you think? I mean, 3 eagles, and that
they're too good, man. I'm telling you.
Well, they are.
The people in today's world, when you went on the PGA Tour today, and I don't take anything away from what the people did 15, 20, 25 years ago, but there was a handful of guys that were better than everybody else. Now there's one guy better than everybody else, but the other 100 and something that are on tour can beat anybody's ass on any given day.
On any given day. Yeah, including that one guy. So, I mean, it's the best golf on the planet. The best players play on that tour. There's no debating that anymore. That's not even a conversation. Anybody who says otherwise is just not watching or paying attention. It's got the most well-rounded talent I think it's ever had in the history of its tourship. It's got these players are just amazing. Now, who wins the majors is kind of what separates the season from everyone else. But would you take Scotty Scheffler over or under 1.5 majors this year? There's 4 of them.
Well, you'd be crazy not to take the over because he just destroys people. I mean, it's almost like Scotty's like, you know what? I'm bored of winning.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play poorly the first round, maybe the second round, and make it exciting over the weekend to see if I can come from 6 or 7 shots.
Sweet they play.
I don't know if they're going to play. It's going to be freaking historical rains coming to California.
Well, then that would do it. Last year it was canceled because of the fires and in Pacific Palisades. So
yeah, it's supposed to rain like 8 to 10 inches out
there. 8 to 10.
That's
mudslideville. That's like, how is that? Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I just saw it on the news this morning.
Okay.
Bomb My Carpet says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. These golf news from the weekend is DeSantis, Urban Meyer, and Trump all played together. I think Nick Saban was in that foursome.
He was, and there was another football coach.
It was Urban, Trump, Saban, and DeSantis. Josh from Wamam on the Titan More text line says, did y'all discuss Michael Jordan's NASCAR team winning the Daytona 500? I saw the highlights. They got lucky because everybody crashed and the dude just rolled right in across the finish line.
Okay. Well, again,
did you see that, JC?
No, brother, I don't watch it.
I just saw the highlights this morning on the news. Multiple people had a chance to win on the final lap, but literally 50 yards from the checkered flag, pile up, dude just rolls right through, wins.
Well, Michael Jordan owned the team. How about that?
He does own a team that won. Monty on the Titan More text line says, did you see that Western Carolina's quarterback signed with North Carolina? I did see that this morning. Tiger Dickens, I don't know what other quarterbacks they have there. We'll see what he can do under Bill Belichick. I don't know who calls the plays for Belichick, but we'll see.
Yeah. What did you learn from the first weekend in the Gator baseball season?
Nothing.
I
don't know anything about. I mean, I didn't go to any games. They're 2-1.
I can't even think about it here in February. I should.
I really don't get into the baseball. Here's the thing. I don't care about the baseball record. Let's see what they do against in the Miami series and the Florida State series. But it really comes down to SEC play.
It does. Yeah.
And I know you got to win some of your midweek games, but I don't know.
Well, Arkansas, I think they say is number 1. LSU is 2, but who knows? I mean, it's so early in the year. But I will tell you that the SEC is once again just going to be a very difficult conference. I mean,
Electronics World Integration Design Specialist for Smart Home Automation and Entertainment. Let Electronics World bring the Florida Gators basketball, baseball, softball, and the NBA to your living room. electronicsworld.com. JC, did you watch the NBA All-Star game?
Somehow I missed that.
So here's what's crazy. I watch golf and then I'm flipping around. I go to Golf Central because I can watch. I just love golf.
Yeah, me too.
For some reason I click or the NBC and the NBA. It wasn't an all-star game. They played they got like 4 teams.
Okay.
And then so I had to watch it just for like 2 minutes to figure out what was going on. So it was like the all-star stripes against the all-star. Then there was an all-star world team, and they did like this round robin. I had no idea. Didn't care. I didn't even know they were doing that.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to it. I've got about as much. I would rather watch the Olympic hockey than that. Does that make me a bad sports fan, QB?
That you like watching Olympic hockey?
More than the NBA All-Star game or whatever.
I don't know if anybody watched the NBA All-Star game.
Well,
I don't know why you would.
Well, the arena was packed. It was in LA. It was a star-studded event, apparently. They gave Obama and Michelle standing ovations. I mean, they love them. So anyway, the Olympic hockey is going to come down to another match between the Canadian NHL players and the American NHL players, and this will be a rematch from the
Let me know when that game is.
The Four Nations tournament over the in the last year or so, was extremely competitive, very good stuff. And those players played as hard as they would during the Stanley Cup playoffs. So that's where we're going to go with this, and then everyone else is playing for bronze. So we'll see how that works out. But you have the best in the world from the NHL playing in this world tournament called the Olympics, and that's where we'll see. That's when we'll see the Canadians, McDavid and Wilson and Sidney Crosby and the Kachuk brothers and Connor Hellebuck. It's going to be amazing hockey, and that is really when it gets super good to watch, because that is similar to the intensity you'll see at the Stanley Cup. These guys just play against each other so hard. And what's funny is that there are teammates on the opposite side that are going to be playing against each other and battling against each other. And then when they leave, they'll be back on their teams again, and they'll hate the guys they were playing with.
That's right.
So it's cool, though. I think it's really super cool. That provides a little bit more interest for me than what's going on in the NBA. But I will watch the NBA when the playoffs start. I mean, I can watch that. I can.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I can.
This text from Rick and Jupiter on the Titanmore text line says, QB, with the ruling in favor of Trinidad Chambliss being eligible for one more year, it sure seems to have changed the days of players fighting to get in the league earlier to now fighting to not have to go to the NFL. I don't blame them, because if Trinidad is a third round pick or less, he gets paid less for 3 years as a pro than in one season in college. Also, the NFL product is about to look like the XFL, with the skill being watered down, in my opinion.
That's a good way of explaining it.
I don't think you're going to see it, the skill be watered down, because no. Trinidad Chambliss, I think, is a really good college quarterback. I don't think he translates to the NFL at all. And Diego Pavia has zero chance of making a roster. So they're going to try, because they're good college football players.
Yeah.
But your elite guys, I mean, when a guy's an NFL guy.
Yeah. Well, you're right about Pavia. He's such a great player for Vanderbilt, but I don't know if that translates to the 10.
He has. If he made a roster, I will buy you a lunch, JC. But you owe me like 7, I think.
All right. So M. Hunter says Petrino is the OC for North Carolina now.
Who?
Petrino.
Bobby Petrino?
Well, there are two, so I don't know which one he's talking about, but I would say he's probably talking about Bobby Petrino.
Well, that makes me have to think that North Carolina has a chance next year.
Right, because that guy definitely knows what he's doing. Belichick finally figured out something right. I think I mean, I'm looking at
MSRK says Kyler Murray made it. Kyler Murray is a freak of an athlete. He should be playing in the Major League Baseball.
Yeah, he missed his.
I mean, he is an elite quarterback. He won the damn too, didn't he?
Yeah, in college he was.
Yeah, but I think he's a really good pro quarterback.
Well, he never played this
year. Hurt.
He was hurt, but Arizona hadn't won anything with him. And I know their team stinks, but
JC, you can say that about Allen. They ain't won nothing in Buffalo, but he's damn good. He's elite.
Yeah, you think he's $100 million quarterback?
Who?
Kyler Murray.
Is that what he's getting paid?
It is.
I mean, I guess you should ask me, what are my other options to pay somebody $100 million?
Well, that's why Arizona, I think, this is what happened with Dallas. They overpaid these players. They watered down the rest of the roster.
Well, I will say this too.
Same thing with
I don't know who the coach is at Arizona. I know they just hired a new guy like 2 years ago.
No,
is he still their coach?
No, he got fired.
Okay, well, that's probably a good thing for Kyler Murray.
Probably is. But, a new coach can change everything. That's right.
But Kyler Murray's he's an elite athlete.
He is an elite athlete, but you talk about athletes and quarterbacks, and
JC, he can throw the football.
I don't know.
There's
one.
He has one. Okay, so
I don't think he's an elite quarterback. I don't.
Okay, is he one of my top 10? No, but people are saying, like, I think they're trying to compare him to Trinidad Chambliss. I'm like, there's no comparison.
Well, yeah, maybe not. I mean, at Oklahoma, he was great. He really was. There's no doubt. And Lincoln Riley has a way of making it, doesn't he? So let's just remember that. But Lincoln has.
Let's just say this: they're 30.
And yeah,
Not all 32 are going to have elite quarterbacks.
No, they're not.
There's
not.
only about 7 to 8 elite.
Well, it's just I think the GM made a mistake paying him that kind of money. I would have let him go after his rookie contract because I can't see them winning that division, dude. That's the best division in football.
Well, that's not his fault because they're in a bad division and they're always a bad team.
Well, it's not his fault, but he's taking all the salary cap. He's using it all up, and the GM's an idiot for doing it. That's all I'm saying. Now, if he thinks he can get that kind of money somewhere else, then maybe. But I don't know what Arizona was scared of by losing him after his rookie contract. I don't really know.
Because I don't know if they could get anybody better.
Well, maybe not. Yeah, I haven't really kept up with the Cards. But that's a tough division, man. That's the best division right now. 3 playoff teams.
Daryl says on YouTube, brought to you by Quiet Plumbing, Scott Strickland wants to renovate the stadium and needs to start with the restrooms. Go look at Daytona International Speedway. No standing in line, huge restrooms.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's important. That's very important. You know, when Denzel makes 3 3-pointers, the Gators always win, whether he plays for them or not. That's kind of a stat I read.
You did?
Yeah, and Kentucky is exactly who I thought they were. They're an average, pretty above average team, but they're nothing.
Well, I'll tell you what they can do is it's going to be more difficult for us playing them at Rupp at the end of the year because they have some size that can bang with our guys. I thought their true freshman Marino is outstanding. I like the Chandler kid. I me at all next year if somehow in NIL we got Marino and Chandler to come play for the Gators. I think they're really good basketball players.
Could happen. It absolutely could. I mean, the Gators,
I don't know if we have the money to the Cats.
Well, right now I think Florida's 5th or 4th or something, but everybody in Vegas loves them. Everybody in the country is on the Gators. Everyone. I mean, they didn't cover Saturday, but the over was easy. And I'll tell you, the numbers just got a little bit out of whack. What was it? 11.5, closed at 12. It's closed at 13.5. So that was a rush to the wrong side on that bet. But the Gators are probably going to be.
We were up 18 at one time.
Yeah, they were in the first half. The Gators will be 17 to 19.5 point favorites, I'm predicting, for tomorrow. We'll have more of that at 8:30 after your segment tomorrow morning on Win with JC as we go through the Tuesday schedule. The Gators will play South Carolina. LSU will play Texas. A big one in the Big Ten between Michigan at Purdue. Purdue had 2 huge wins on the road this past week, including at Nebraska. Then they blew out somebody the other day. And then Michigan is Michigan. I may have overlooked the Wolverines on my Final Four prediction. Absolutely may have done that.
All right, JC, we got to get to Mike Morgan. Go research Jackson Coyvan.
Yeah, you're all wild about this.
I love good golf, and he joins us on the Titan tomorrow hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tips. Quick timeout. We'll have Mike Morgan. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Linderos Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Comfort Temp, Florida Cracker Oyster, Electronics World, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Advocare, MG&A Wealth. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, call my man Freddie, 352-284-3733.
Coach, you know what always impressed me, how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Linderos Tequila. aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Londeros Tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Londeros Tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Londeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, plus you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football. Let's go. We are the owners of Tropical Distillery, and JF Hayden's is our liqueur brand. We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers and go Gators.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Gallo Car Wash is locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations on Northwest 13th Street, Williston Road, and coming soon to Jonesville and the city of Alachua. Back to the Titan Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temper man Mike Morgan, who is a busy dude traveling the country calling basketball games. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Shane. Yeah, good busy. You know, getting to see a lot of great teams and players. I think by now I've had the best teams in the country with few exceptions, and definitely the best players. You know, I've had DeBonza of BYU. I've had Darren Peterson actually played in the game I did for Kansas, so that was refreshing. You know, I've had Michigan. I've had Arizona. I've had Florida, who I think is the best team in the SEC, and really the only one that I think can make a run to a Final Four. So I've seen a little bit of everything. Oh, and Darius Acup. There's nobody playing better basketball in the country than Darius Acup of Arkansas. Let me throw that out there, because that is kind of been buried, for lack of a better word. I don't know if a lot of people that outside of the SEC really know how good that kid is. He's ridiculously good. He just continues to amaze me every time I have him. So I had him last week. I just had Tennessee Saturday. I'm in Durham. I've got Duke, Syracuse. First time I've had Duke in 7 years. So I'll see the Boozer brothers. So that'll be the other part of that, best players in the country. And then off to Texas A&M and off to Oklahoma, where hopefully the popcorn machine doesn't go on fire again. So it'll be an interesting week.
About it. All right, let's talk about the Gators. You know, Kentucky had some size that could give us some problems down low. But man, playing in the O'Connell Center is just a different vibe with this team. I guess looking forward to the Gators are going to be favored in every game here on out in conference play. The only team that probably can give them some issues is Arkansas. You just talk about their point guard, but do they have enough size? I have not watched Arkansas closely enough. Do they have enough size that can the Gators?
They have enough. They don't have, and very few teams can match up with Florida in just like traditional height and length. You know, when you've got Condon, Chinyelu, and then Houck really plays much bigger than he actually is. You know, they're more than just to me. I always like to point out, Shane, there's size and then there's quality size. I can't tell you how many times I hear somebody assume the 7-footer who's on the bench is not the best player in the post. And then the fans like, but he's 7 feet. And then he goes out there and gets worked over by some 6'8" dude who's quicker, stronger, more explosive, and better. Taller isn't always better. What makes Florida so difficult is that Chinyalu is, I'm convinced he's made of granite and stone. Like it's not even, it's not even blood and like muscle. It's just granite and stone underneath his skin. And it's just a maxed effort guy. So when you hear Jimmy Dykes say he's the best defensive player in the country, I mean, stems is that he's out there with those quick feet and guarding people half his size, and then you take your big and you go up against him and you can't move him. You just can't move him off the floor. Hauk, everybody knows Hauk is just tremendous in so many ways. And I know you've been a little critical of Condon and others have, and I get it. There's still holes in his game. That's why I think that's why the NBA kind of, you're not ready. But when Condon is playing, one thing is I know the term high motor is used too often, but he always does have that, and that is valuable. A lot of 6'11", 7-footers, Shane, you know this, they just come across as a little bit lazy. I know that's a stereotype that might be unfair, but there's a lot of big dudes that play basketball. They don't love basketball. They play it because everybody told them, you're really tall, go play basketball. Condon is like, I'm still learning this game, but damn it, I love it, and I will never shortchange my coaching staff, my teammates, and the fans without playing extremely hard. So there are times, and I see him in the game, thankfully, as people say, you're left alone for a reason. And he thought, and then said, no, let's play this out and go for something better. Still think, and nobody wants to play against Condon. So, like, he's a pain in the you-know-what to play against. Is he flawed? Yes. But he is a great complement to Hauk and Chinyalu. And now you've got the backcourt playing well for Florida. That was always the mystery, right? When is that backcourt going to be able to not replicate last year? I don't think you're going to do that, but at least be more of a weapon. And now it is, and Boogie Flan still can't hit a three, but man, he can do a lot of other things to help you win games, and he is. And so are his teammates in the backcourt. So I think Florida's peaking at the right time. And like I said, I think it's the one team in the SEC. The SEC is going to get 10, 11 bids. Okay. It's not the down year that some people want to say it is, but I'm not sure if Arkansas, Bama, take your pick. I'm not sure if I see Kentucky. I'm not sure if I see another team in this league that can really make a Final Four run other than Florida.
I agree. And, piggybacking on what you said, the bigs play so hard. This entire team plays hard, and they play with a swagger. Todd Golden has that.
Yeah.
Condon reminds me of, I have so many good buddies that were offensive linemen, that played in the league or whatever. And you go up against these great players in college and in the NFL, but you always have that one white dude at D-line that never takes a play off. They hate playing against that guy because, some of the great athletes sometimes take plays off, but that guy that has that high motor and gets after it, that's kind of who Condon is. And that's why he gives people so many hits. But, talking about the backcourt, someone on here, if I could find it, wanted to know, other than making threes, what can this team do to make a deep run? Look, they're going to make some threes and they're going to miss some, but our guards do so many other things well that don't show up in the stat line. I mean, they're both really good defenders. Talking about Xavier Lee, Boogie Flan's elite defender, but they have not been turning the ball over, and I think that is huge come tournament time, protecting the basketball.
It sure is, and I'm less concerned about, to go back to the threes, I'm less concerned about the quantity as I am the efficiency. So for me, it's more of, okay, what percentage are they shooting? I don't need them to hit 10 threes a game like in Alabama. You know, I don't need 10 threes a game to win game. You don't have to hit 10 threes to win a game. But I want you to shoot more than 30%, because if you're shooting 30%, that's a real tough number to win. I don't think they've ever won a national championship at 30%. So what are the Gators overall? Well, the last time I checked, they're right around 30%, maybe even a little under. But in conference play, the number is closer to 33, 32, 33. And that's where this team, I believe, needs to be. Because you are going to be in games in the NCAA tournament where you will need some threes. Again, not 10, but it's more about when they come. I mean, that was the magic of last year's team. If you look at it, whether it was Richard or whether it was Walter Clayton, it's when they hit them. And, you know, when you're down late to Texas Tech by 9, all of a sudden you hit those clutch shots, you hit those clutch threes. There's going to be a game or two where you're down in the second half and you need a run and you need a flurry. Some teams, the only way they can do it is by the three. Florida has the luxury where they can do it in other ways. They can get fast break points, which they're so good off of misses, getting in position for a run out and getting numbers the other way. I mean, they're really fun to watch. And that, again, that goes back to coaching. That doesn't happen on accident. But yeah, I don't think they have to hit threes to win it. I realize, you know, again, Boogie Flan, that is your last option to shoot a three, but he's doing so many other things well. And I'm glad you mentioned the defensive side of it. You know, that's why Elijah Martin was brought to town last year. Everything he gave you on offense was a bonus, but they needed a shutdown defender at the guard spot. And that's what he gave you. That's what Xavier Lee, that's the role he is playing now for this Florida team on the defensive end.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about Todd Golden. You know, I think the more you watch him coach and just their style of play, I mean, he's got to be in your rankings as one of the top coaches in America right now. I mean, what he's getting last year, what they did, what they're doing this year, I think from an X's and O's standpoint, he's outstanding.
He really is. You know, I remember 2 years ago, we had back-to-back games at Florida. So Mark Wise and I spent an extra day we just went to a practice and just sat there and watched an entire practice. You learn a lot more from a practice when you do a shoot around, which is the day of the game. And, you know, they go out there and they go over a few things on the scout and whatnot, but it's not as hardcore as a practice. And I was just so impressed because I watch a lot of teams practice. But what they do, and he's always had great assistant coach. That's another mark of a great coach. They know who to hire on their staff. And, you know, last year you had a couple of guys get bigger jobs. So what does he do? He replenishes what they lost. And it seems like more of the same. We don't talk about that nearly as much as we do coordinators in football. But it really does take 3 or 4 guys on the basketball staff to come up with the winning combination, the winning formula. I ran into Bruce Pearl because I was doing the Michigan-Ohio State game, and Bruce was doing it for Turner. And I asked him again about Todd Golden because I said, I know the story. Like, nobody knew who Todd Golden was outside of, like, California. Bruce Pearl, that's where he was an assistant. Bruce Pearl, knowing him well and looking out for one of his guys, like good coaches do, they network. He picks up the phone and he calls Scott Strickland and he says, I'm telling you right now, nobody will do a better job for you than this guy. So that's where it starts. That's where it originates. And then Scott does a deep dive and Scott took a chance. Look, nobody was celebrating that hire when it was made. Nobody. But clearly it'll go down as one of the better basketball hires we've seen in the last few years. I mean, they absolutely hit a grand slam on a guy that very few people knew outside of California. He didn't have this tremendous resume, but that's partly the power of Bruce Pearl to help kind of make that thing go. And I think right now you can't have a discussion on top coaches in college basketball without throwing his name in there.
No doubt about it. Jimmy on the Titan MR text line says, Mike, how many SEC teams do you think make the tournament?
It's going to be 10 or 11. The potential 11th I see is Missouri. Missouri is going to be one of those bubble teams. They're probably going to have to win a game or two in Nashville. And if they don't, then it'll be 10. I think there are 10 teams right now that are on very solid ground. There's always the potential that, for example, like an Auburn team, you know, their top player gets suspended, Keyshawn Hall. That means they have no chance to win against the better teams in the SEC. They need to get themselves right to make sure they get in. If they don't, they could go on this terrible run and they could go the opposite way. But I think they will get in. Georgia's another team. Mike White needs to get them right because they've hit a little bit of a wall here. But assuming that neither one of those teams collapses, I think 10 is a pretty good bet.
On Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law, Andy wants to know, Mike, how can Darren Peterson be mentioned as a top lottery pick with such questionable health?
Well, I love the question. I'm going to rephrase it a little bit. How can Darren Peterson be considered to be the number one pick in the draft when he clearly, and his camp is clearly telling him, load management, don't play more than you need to, sit out games, sit out halves. No one is convinced. And I was in Allen Fieldhouse earlier this year, and I talked to what I would consider the right people. Yes, I talked to Bill Self, but Bill is not going to call his own player out. From what I've been told, there are clearly people telling that young man, you're already going to be the number one or number two pick. Don't play any more than you need to. And when in doubt, oh, cramps. It's like the movie Caddyshack when Rodney Dangerfield doesn't want to play in the final tournament. Oh, my arm is broken. It's everything that's wrong with college athletics. And he's not a bad kid. Let me just say this. He is not a bad young man at all. But what happens is some of these guys now, people are in their ear and they're giving them advice on what to do and what not to do. He is clearly getting some advice that says, don't play 30 minutes a game, even though you're good enough. That's why I love the DeBonza kid from BYU, who might very well be the number one pick in the draft. That dude plays hard every game, and he does play 30 minutes. He's not worried about load management. He's not afraid of spraining his ankle. He's out there playing his ass off and trying to take BYU to another level. The same thing with the Boozer brothers. Same thing with Darius Acuff. They're competitors. They're out there balling. They're not coming up with cramps at some inopportune times. So I love the player, and he'll probably be a sensational pro. Let me just say that. But I don't like hearing about why he's not playing more than he is.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this every week. You know, the NCAA tournament's kind of wide open. I know Arizona got beat the other night. They have 2 losses now. That damn Texas Tech team, I actually watched a lot of that game. Oh, Texas Tech gets after it. You talking about some tough dudes.
Yeah.
Goodness. But it is just wide open. Wouldn't you agree right now there's probably 10 teams that could probably win the national title?
I think it's up there. I think it's more open than it was, say, last year when everybody and their grandmother picked Florida, which quite honestly made me a little bit nervous because typically when you do that, you're cursing a team. But Florida just looked like a cut above the rest, and that's exactly how they played. But again, I mentioned that Texas Tech game. They're down 9 late in the game. It's not as if Florida just cakewalked over everybody. March can be very unpredictable. But this year, yeah. The teams that I've seen, I don't think there's a more talented team than Michigan or Arizona. They're both really, really good. I get it. Arizona just lost a couple of games. Michigan, Shane, you want to talk about size. If Florida and Michigan meet, say, in a Final Four game, to watch those two front courts go at it will be some of the best television you've seen in March Madness in 30 years. They are loaded. Absolutely loaded and huge in the front court. They're a problem, as people like to say. So I look at Arizona, I look at Michigan. If Darren Peterson decides he wants to play in March, I'll throw Kansas into that mix. Duke, who again I have tonight. Duke is certainly, they're awfully good. And then in the SEC, it's Florida. I'm struggling to find enough in the SEC right now that is Final Four good. If Arizona can turn it on, you've got one of the best players in the country. You've got athleticism. You've got a lot going for you. But I'm just not there yet with Zona. I'm obviously there with Florida. I think there's probably, I don't know if I'd go 10, Shane. Maybe I'd go like 7 teams that I think could win it all.
Yeah. It will be interesting. It's a stretch run for sure. Mike, let everybody know if they want to listen to, you're obviously going to be on TV this week, but you're also doing some games radio, how they can listen.
Yeah, sure. So tonight and a couple more we've got on Elite Media Network. That's on a number of stations across the country. Hopefully one in Gainesville sometime soon, but it's on about 100 stations. Also the Elite Media Network channel, which is all over TuneIn and iHeart for free, as well as YouTube channel. You can actually watch myself and Paul Biancardi talking. I can't believe it, but people actually do watch that. Talking, excuse me, calling the game on the Elite Media Network YouTube channel. And then Wednesday I'll be at Texas A&M in College Station. Texas A&M is reeling a bit right now. I think Bucky McMillan's done an excellent job, but what concerned me about them the most is that they're undersized, they're not real deep. It was a lot of smoke and mirrors, and now they look like they're starting to wear down a bit. So it'll be a big game for them on Wednesday at Reed Arena. And then, like I said, Saturday I'll be at Oklahoma. They could fight their way in. They still have a chance. I love their coach. They've had a lot of bad luck over there in Norman. So, number one, make sure the popcorn machine is not a fire hazard. We need to make sure everybody is safe. And then number two, they need to get popping. They need to go on a streak here where they win some more games. And who knows, maybe because the SEC's net ranking is still number 1 in the country, because every metric says the league is still really good. They could sneak in there if they get hot here down the stretch.
Yep. Good stuff as always, my man. We'll talk to you next week.
Always enjoy it, Shane. Best of fortunes to all your terrific listeners on this program, and we'll talk next week.
That's Mike Morgan. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Town. Injuries occur whenever and however, and it's never convenient. For sprains, strains, or minor fractures, UF Health Orthocare makes it convenient for you 7 days a week, including evenings. Walk-ins are welcome. That's UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Appreciate JC and Mike Morgan. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.